Spring football is here for college football, and the hot topic is going to be the quarterback battles. We talk about it every year, and today we're taking a look at the top 10 quarterback battles that will happen this spring. Number one is going to be the Texas Longhorns. I think this is one that everybody anticipated for a long time, especially when Arch Manning committed to the Longhorns and Quinn Ewers being on the roster already. When you look at the hype versus the experience, both quarterbacks come into Texas with a ton of hype. Quinn Ewers came in last year after transferring from Ohio State with a ton of hype. He is an extremely talented quarterback that struggled at times with some accuracy issues, and I think that's something that he can fix. I think a lot of people, because Arch Manning is coming to Texas, basically just wrote off Quinn Ewers, but Quinn Ewers is still one of the most talented quarterbacks in college football when he puts it all together. Now, he has a whole year of experience under his belt. That is something that is going to help him against Arch Manning. Arch Manning doesn't have that full year of experience in Steve Sarkisian's system. Now, it's still going to be a quarterback battle. I think that Ewers still is going to hang on to that spot. And the best case scenario is that Quinn has a good year and goes to the NFL draft next year, and then Arch takes over for him. But it's going to be a quarterback battle that we are going to talk about all the way up until that first game and even probably well into the season, depending on how that goes. Alabama comes in at number two. Jalen MILROE and Ty Simpson have the opportunity to take over for Bryce Young. Now, those are some big shoes to fill, but we saw Jalen Milroe do that in one game against Texas A&M. He threw for 111 yards, which maybe isn't Bryce Young numbers, 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. He also rushed for 81 yards. That is what he is really good at, is an electric ball carrier. With his legs, he's able to make plays, and he has a really strong arm. It's just a matter of that accuracy. Now, Ty Simpson is more of the natural pocket passer, so that's going to be something that challenges Jalen Milroe. It just depends on who's going to be the offensive coordinator and what do they look for in a quarterback. The next one is another obvious one in Georgia. You have someone taking over for Stetson Bennett. Now, the first person that will get a shot at it is Carson Beck, the backup for Georgia last year. It didn't have a ton of production, 310 yards with 4 touchdowns. I really like what I see from him, what I've seen in his limited time. You see the arm talent there, a lot of good velocity on his throws. The guys he's going to be fighting off, Brock Vandagriff and Gunnar Stockton, you can probably assume that one of these guys will be hitting the transfer portal after spring practice. You're going to see someone probably hit the portal because they're not going to be in that running. Maybe it's going to be something that Kirby Smart's able to keep them all together, but it's still going to be a three-way competition for now. And then you might see one of those guys head elsewhere when spring is over. What is Miami going to do? Shannon Dawson comes in to take over the quarterback position, the offensive coordinator, I should say, of the offense. You're looking at Tyler Van Dyke and Ja'Cory Brown, two guys that played last year, and it's going to be interesting to see what Dawson wants from his quarterback. Now, Tyler Van Dyke looks a lot of what Clayton Tune did for Houston when Dawson was taking over that offense. And I think that should be a good fit. But Ja'Cory Brown also showed that he can be a really talented passer as well, a really talented player. And again, it's just going to come down to what kind of offense does Dawson want to run, and what is that offense going to look like with either of these guys? It's going to be something that this is an offense that needs to take a step forward, and the winner of this quarterback battle is going to play a huge role in it. Matt Rule has a ton of work to do at Nebraska. One of the positions he has to figure out is the quarterback position, and he has two guys that are talented players that can do different things. Casey Thompson is the more experienced player in terms of with this offense and with this program. You're looking at, I think that Casey Thompson is just maybe the more consistent player, and that's something that could help him. Now, he doesn't have maybe the ceiling that Jeff Sims does. Jeff Sims is a guy with a tremendous ceiling, tremendous talent in terms of athleticism and good arm talent as well. He just doesn't have that consistency. Now, if Rule and Marcus Satterfield, who takes over as offensive coordinator, can find a way to really get the talent out there and turn it into production, then you're looking at a team that could be very scary in the Big Ten this year. Ohio State has a quarterback battle as expected with CJ Stroud going to the NFL. That leaves Kyle McCord and Devin Brown fighting for that starting spot. Now, McCord has the experience, but Devin Brown also is extremely talented. We'll dive into that in just a sec. The last three quarterbacks that Ohio State's had, CJ Stroud, Justin Fields, and the late Dwayne Haskins, those are big shoes to fill. That is a long line of good quarterbacks in recent history that are really good, and you're going to have to be able to step up and be that good because that's what fans expect. Now, McCord has more experience and Brian Hartline takes over for the offense, so it's going to be a little bit different. So that experience maybe doesn't help him as much, but he is the more experienced player in terms of game production. Does that matter? What kind of system will Hartline run? What does he look for? Is running a part of that? Is that something he's going to look for in his quarterback? Because if it is, then Devin Brown is the better runner, but it's going to come down to still, this is going to be a passing offense. It's going to take a quarterback that can throw the ball really well, and McCord has the edge there, but Devin Brown is still extremely talented. So that's definitely a quarterback battle that many will be watching. Chip Kelly has a big decision to make, and it's one that I think could shift the direction of the UCLA program. Now, he was able to get Dante Moore to flip from his former team, the Oregon Ducks, to commit to UCLA, and Dante Moore is going to compete for the starting job. With Dorian Thompson-Robinson off to the NFL, that leaves the starting position open. Dante Moore is someone who can definitely compete for that. Ethan Garbers has the most experience of the three that are going to compete for this job in terms of UCLA's offense and Chip Kelly's system. Colin Schlee is going to be the more experienced overall player coming from Kent State, but I think that it's going to be interesting to see how do they manage this, because again, Garbers is someone that they brought in and they have as experience in this offense, but Dante Moore is easily the most talented player of these three. So do you, again, with the transfer portal era, it makes it so interesting because you're not sure if Dante Moore doesn't start, is he going to transfer? That is the big question here. And I don't think that Colin Schlee can come in and take the job, but you never know. Dante Moore is someone who, honestly, if I'm looking at it, I would give him the job if he is even close to these other two guys. And it could be a big thing for Chip Kelly. I really know that Chip Kelly is going to be able to put him in great positions, and he's going to make him a threat every single week. Phil Longo and Luke Fickell have a ton of work to turn around the Wisconsin offense. I don't think it's going to happen in one season, but it's going to be helpful to have a quarterback like Tanner Mordecai coming in from SMU to take over this offense. Now, Nick Ewers is going to challenge him for that starting spot, but I think that the short-term fix is going to be putting Tanner Mordecai at the quarterback position to help Nick Ewers learn from him and to be able to move forward. And long term, it's going to be an offense that's in good hands. You saw what Phil Longo's done in the past with teams like Sam Houston State. He doesn't try to change everything right away. So this is still going to be a team that runs the ball a lot. This is going to be a team that has a talented player in Braylon Allen. They're still going to run the ball quite a bit, but the quarterback position is going to play a huge role. Do they have a guy who can finally make a name for this offense? Can they make plays when they need them? And can they switch more to a more balanced offense where they throw the ball a little bit more? Again, still going to be pretty run heavy, but can they make that transition where when Nick Evers takes over, he's going to be able to throw the ball a lot more? I think what Lane Kiffin did this offseason to create a quarterback battle was a smart move. Now, Jackson Dart was the starter last year, and I don't think there was any question about anybody challenging him. And then Luke Altmaier transfers out. He brings a veteran quarterback in Spencer Sanders in, and he brings a top recruit, a former top 40 player in Walker Howard from LSU. That is going to create a natural competition, and it's going to, at worst, just make Jackson Dart better. Now, Spencer Sanders is the more experienced player of the three, the most experienced player in this group. And you're looking at a player that has the knowledge and has the skill set to be a talented quarterback in this system. It's just a matter of, again, we talk about consistency with quarterbacks, and Spencer Sanders is kind of all over the place. So at worst, he gives Jackson Dart a veteran player who can be a mentor to him and make him even better. He can also do the same for Walker Howard. Now, I don't think Walker Howard's going to take over for this position, but it's something to keep an eye on. Now, Charlie Weiss Jr. comes in to work with Lane Kiffin. The fact that those two are working together gives this offense some excitement, and it has the potential to be really explosive. So it doesn't matter who's going to be the quarterback. This system is designed to make them really good, to make them explosive, and they have the playmakers around them, especially Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. This is going to be fun to watch. I think Dart wins that job, but it's going to be fun to see what they do in the spring to make him even better and make this competition fun to watch. We're going to go a little bit different here. We're going with Cincinnati, a team that I think is probably going to struggle, honestly, in the Big 12. There's a lot that needs to be figured out now. Scott Satterfield has a long list of success, a long history of success at Louisville and Appalachian State. So I think that he has the opportunity to make Cincinnati better than expected. The quarterback position is going to be something he needs to figure out. Now, what does he do for his offense? When we're looking at the quarterbacks available, Ben Bryant is very different than Evan Prater and Emory Jones. So if you're looking more of what Malik Cunningham did at Louisville, you're going to see Prater or Jones win the job. But if he thinks that Bryant is the most talented player, the best option to run his offense, you're going to see someone that's not going to run as much. He's going to throw the ball a little bit more. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Not only are you going to see a quarterback battle, you're going to see a system that maybe adapts to what the quarterback does really well. Again, there's two guys that run the ball. Prater has still a lot to show. So I think this really comes down to Emory Jones and Ben Bryant. But with a new coaching staff coming in, potentially a new offense, maybe Prater fits that system a little bit better. And Cincinnati is going to be really fun to watch if they get the right guy in that position.